Hello, thanks a lot for stopping by How to Cook Great. Now, if you like what you see, there's over 3,000 other cooking videos on our channel. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I'll try and get back to you. Okay, let's get on with this one. Okay, we're going to make some Brussels sprouts, very famous. We're going to make them just like my mum. No, we're not. Okay, Brussels sprouts, a nightmare for kids. I used to hate these when I was a kid, but love them now. I'm sure some of you still hate them. But yeah, little tiny little cabbages, aren't they really? So you can get them frozen if you want and use them that way, but they're a little kind of bit watery, I find. So we've got some fresh ones here. All we're going to do is we're going to just peel off a bit of the outer leaf, you know, because it's not so beautiful. And then we're going to cut that little nib off and put a cross in it. Let me just do that. So yeah, just cut that nib off there. Get rid of any kind of bits that aren't looking so lovely, the outer leaves. They just roll off like that. That's a beauty. And then cut there, little cut there. Job done. Let me do the rest of them. Okay, so I've just done that. Bit fiddly, but you know, really worth it. So yeah, got them outer skin off, little cross, ready to roll. Okay, so I've dropped those sprouts into some cold water. I'm going to add some salt. Now, like my mum and many people's mums years ago, you need to boil those for about 6 days. Only kidding. But my mum used to just boil the life out of vegetables. Like she'd boil that for an hour. Same with carrots and stuff like that. Poor thing. Well, poor me actually. Right, cold water, salt, sprouts are in. I'm going to let it come to the boil. And I'm just going to let it go for about 4 minutes. They're nice and small. Mum, can't you remember things like this? Come on. Okay, off goes the heat and they're done. They're nice and firm still. I like them like that. Cook them longer if you like my mum. Right, drain them off, ready to serve. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jazz them up. So I'm going to drain the water off and come back into this pan. Okay, so the heat's on really high. I've got 2 tablespoons of sesame oil in there. And I've also got, check this out, a little bit of garlic and some ginger. In it goes. A little bit of onion. Some black pepper. Some salt. And then in go our sprouts. 3 minutes, stirring it around. It's going to give them some lovely flavour. Now if you want, you can get some chili in there, get some other herbs in there. Just really, really simple. Job done. There you go. So I love to do that just to give them a bit of extra flavour. Try it out and you might end up liking Brussels sprouts. But yeah, that's it. Delicious. Beautiful, lovely roast parsnips. Some roast parsnips, very simple, very Christmassy. I generally only ever eat these at Christmas, to be honest. So I've just got 4 parsnips there. Now, what you can do if you want is you can peel them. I'm not going to peel my ones. I'm going to top and tail them, so I'm going to get the ends off. And then you can cut them exactly how you want. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll them in a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, pop them in the oven. Fantastic. Okay, so you can see I've just cut them into sort of nice, decent sized pieces. You can cut it exactly how you want. I don't like them too small actually, but I like them kind of a bit chunky like that. Black pepper. Let's not be shy. And the same with salt. Again, don't be shy with it. And then a bit of a glug of an olive oil. I like that. You can use a different oil if you want. I'm just going to get in there, just toss them around in that. Now we're going to get them into the oven. So get your oven on about 220. I'll leave a few details below in the text. Into a metal tray, glass or ceramic, but I think metal's better when we're roasting like this. And they're going to go in for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how you like them. Okay, I'm going to pop these in now. Now, quite important that they go into a hot oven. Don't put them into a cold oven and switch it on. Nice preheated hot oven. Okay, so our snips are done. Beautiful. Now what we want to do is while they're still in the oven, just get a knife and prod them in. If it goes in nicely and they're soft in the center, they're ready to roll. Absolutely delicious. I think our Swede is nearly ready. Mashed Swede. I am in love. Okay, so Swede. I love this. Again, I don't eat this as much as I would like to. I think a lot of people don't eat this because it's fed to cows or something, but I think it's one of the most wonderful things. In fact, mashed Swede is probably one of the greatest things on the planet. What we're going to do is we're going to peel that off. It's a nice hard sort of root vegetable. We're going to boil it up with some salt. We're then going to mash it. Then we're going to add black pepper and butter. Delicious. Okay, so I peeled that off, discarded the outer skin, cut it into cubes, as you can see, put it into some cold water, a little bit of salt in there. Going to put that on the cooker. We're going to boil that until it's really nice and soft, then drain it off. It's probably going to take, once it reaches boiling point, 8 or 9 minutes. Okay, so lovely and soft now, beautiful. You can see it's sort of changed colour a bit. It's got kind of more of a darker yellow. We're going to drain off the water. We're going to go back in the pan. We're going to add a few little bits. We're going to mash. Okay, so drained the water off, got my potato masher. We're going to get in, we're going to mash it up. I'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, little mash up there. You can see I've got some butter in there, like a tablespoon for this amount. You can add as more if you want, you know, get it nice and creamy. Plenty of black pepper. We're going to give it another little mash up. Job done. So this sort of time of the year, sort of around Christmas or Thanksgiving, if you do that, I eat Swede. And I always just go, why don't I eat this for the whole year? Because I love it. Like, I can quite easily sit and just eat that. Absolutely beautiful, really simple, mashed Swede. We've got our snips done. Should we do some roast potatoes? Now, I'll leave a few details below in the text because obviously there's hundreds of different types of potatoes. What I always find is a kind of nice old potato, so no matter what the variety, an old potato, not fresh out the ground, works really nicely, which is also the same for kind of French fries or chips as we call them. So I've just peeled them and cut them. Now try and get some nice sharp edges on them. Lovely sharp edges, always kind of crisp up a bit nicer. What we're going to do is we're going to get them into some water, a little bit of salt, and I'm going to boil them just for about 4 to 5 minutes. Then they go in the oven. So I've dropped those potatoes into some water, cold water, a little bit of salt. I've got the heat on. I'm going to bring them to the boil. Once it reaches boiling point, I'm going to go for 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, it depends on the size of your potatoes. And then we're going to drain them off and we're going to get them into a really hot oven. Okay, off goes the heat. So it's been going for a few minutes. Still nice and firm, you know, but gives them a little edge in the oven. Let's drain them off. Right, so I'm going back in here with the same pan that I used for the parsnips. So there's a bit of seasoning in there. Now, I've added some sunflower oil. If you've got goose fat, duck fat, or beef fat, or lard, that is fantastic. I don't have any, unfortunately. So I'm on the stove and I'm putting the heat on. Now, your oven has to be really hot. Get your oven as hot as it can, absolutely maximum heat. What we're gonna do is just heat this up a little bit. There's our spuds. And then we're gonna drop these in. Okay? So once your oven is really, really, really hot, that's safe to go in the oven. It's probably going to be in my oven for about 15 minutes or so, maybe a bit longer. Now, if you wanted, you could get some onion in there, you know, some garlic, celery, some other seasoning. You know, might want to put a bit of kind of rosemary on. I'm just going to go straight today with these ones. So they're ready for the oven. About 15, 20 minutes maybe. Let's take a look at them then. Fantastic. Okay, so look, we've got some absolutely wonderful potatoes. Like I say, try and get those jagged edges. They work really well. Just super. And if you want, like I say, get some garlic in there, rosemary, thyme, some other sort of stuff. These are just nice and simple and classic, delicious. Excuse the noise, I'm cooking some fantastic cabbage here. All right, so look, we've done some traditional sort of Christmas stuff. I'm chucking this one in because I want you to try it. This is much more kind of Ethiopian style, white cabbage. Really tasty, better than a load of old boiled cabbage. But yeah, this is something that would be going on in my house for sure at Christmas. So yeah, give it a go, it's lovely. Okay, so I've got some cabbage here. That's half a decent size, like, you know, about the size of my bald head, cut in half and cut, you know, fairly chunky. If you want, you can do it really thin. Let's have a look at the other stuff. Okay, here's the other ingredients. So I've got 2 decent sized tomatoes there. Try and use a nice ripe tomato, sliced. I've got 1 cup of onion. I've got some carrots that I'm putting in, just to sort of add them in really. You don't have to put them in at all. A bit of colour, you know. Then I've got 2 teaspoons of turmeric, a tablespoon of garlic, about a tablespoon or a bit more, or like an inch of fresh ginger cut into nice strips, and some fresh chilli there. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, so I've got about 3 tablespoons there of olive oil. You can use a different oil if you want. We're going to start off by dropping in our onion. We're just on an above medium heat. In goes the garlic and the ginger. And these kind of spare carrots that I've got, I'm going to put them in now because they need time to cook. You don't have to put them in at all. Like I say, just a bit of colour. Right, about 3 or 4 minutes. Keep it moving. See you then. Fabulous stuff. I'm going to go in with some salt. I'm then going to add in that tomato. We're going to add the turmeric. Half of our chilli, and again about another 3 or 4 minutes. Keep this one moving now, okay? Beautiful. Wanted those tomatoes to really kind of break down a bit. Right, let's start getting in some cabbage. Like I said, this is about half a head. I can break that a bit. Now it looks like an enormous amount in there. It will cook down. Got a little bit more there. Okay, gently does it at the beginning, otherwise it's going to fly out the pan. About 6 minutes. Keep it moving. So you can see that's reduced down as it cooks. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add just a little bit of water. Turn the heat right up now. Let it go for about another 4 minutes. Check it for salt. Job done. We'll get it on the plate. Okay, and there you go, steaming, steaming hot. Now I didn't forget about those chilies. They're to place on the top to serve like that. Really beautiful. I mean, not particularly Christmassy, is it? But like I said, but it's something that we'll have in our house. So give it a go. I think that's it. We've done it, I think.